Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. In this video, I'm participating in the monthly YouTube collaboration Stretch the Sketch. That's where we take a 12 by 12 sketch and we alter it. We either shrink it or we stretch it. I will put links to all the other participants below, so be sure to check them out. And in June, we're going to be working with this sketch by Pam Callaghan for GCD Studios. My plan is to stretch it into a double page 8 photo layout. That's what you're about to see on the screen. And in this video, I'll create the layout, of course, but I'll also talk you through my thought process of stretching a sketch. So here's what I'm going to be using. I have material from the Simple Stories Hello Today collection. It's pretty picked through, but I managed to create a double page spread with it. And on my desk, I did a bit of preparation. So I have this frame style foundation across 2 pages, created with 4 papers, and I gutted 2 of them. That's what I'm about to show you. I'm using black and vanilla colored cardstock from Basil. And I'm pointing that out because the vanilla cardstock from Basil is a very nice match to the off-whites that are found in Simple Stories. I also rounded the corners of that foundation page, and you'll notice the vanilla color meets in the middle. I'm showing you now the photos that I trimmed and matted in advance, and I matted them with the black cardstock that came from behind the foundation page. I'm also going to show you the papers that I've selected. Now, you saw most of them in the still shot just a moment ago, but what I also have is a handful of scraps. Like I said earlier, I've used quite a bit of this collection, but I saved all of the scraps, and I find myself incorporating little bits and pieces of these scraps into my layouts, and I'm going to do it in this video today as well. I also have a sticker sheet for this collection. That's what I'm showing you right now. And before starting, I want to take a moment to have a look at the sketch with you, just to give you an idea where I'm at right now in the process. My idea is to take the mini foundation, which is what I call the papers that are underneath the photos on top of the foundation page, and I'm going to stretch it across the 2 pages. I'm also going to take that strip of photos, 3, I'm going to take it from the left, repeat it on the right, and then add a focal point. I just showed you a tray full of embellishments that I'll dig into later on. So you can see the sketch now is in the top left corner. And what I'm doing is creating that mini page, that mini foundation that's underneath the photos. But unlike the sketch has layer, like one piece on top of another piece. What I'm doing is cutting down vertical strips of paper. I'm cutting down 3 for the left and 3 for the right, and I will put measurements for all of this on the screen a little bit later on when I adhere it to the page. What I do want to point out is that most of mine are a little bit larger than what is written on the screen, and that will be indicated when I write it. Essentially, the black and the yellow ones, I cut them wider than what's written on the screen because I'm overlapping them. I'm putting measurements for visible page parts. I hope I didn't confuse you right there. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I plan to set it up on the page, but before doing that, I'm just trimming down these pieces. I left them full length, adhered them together, and only then am I trimming it down to 10.5 inches. I just find it gives me a neater border when I adhere them first and then trim later. So this is how I plan to set up my page. I'm going to line up the photos along that black and white paper on both sides, and the focal point photos, those 2, are going to go over on the right page. At this point, I'm just going to adhere the mini foundation page to the main foundation page. I made a mistake here. I put them upside down, but you're going to see me lift them up and switch them around. No problem. And I do that for the second page as well. Actually, I stopped the film. There you have it. It's all done. I'm having a look at the sketch there, and if you look at the sketch, there is a horizontal border kind of towards the middle bottom. So what I'm doing is cutting down 4 strips of paper in that white and black polka dot as well as that striped paper, and I'm going to have that horizontal border span across the 2 pages. At this point, I know I want to trim them down, but I don't know how long I want them, so I'm going to leave them full length. Again, playing with placement of photos just to get an idea how things are going to be set up. Also, you can see on the sketch there are circles there. So what I'm doing is I'm getting out my custom cutting system from Creative Memories. I've already cut out a circle 4.5 inches. This one is 5.5 inches, and I'm using that ledger paper, which is actually part of this Simple Stories Hello Today collection, because I am going to be doing journaling on one of them. So the ledger paper is going to be nice and easy. I have lines on it already. So you kind of see how I plan to set it up. Now on the sketch, the journaling is kind of in the top left corner. I've got a circle there, but actually that's where my title is going to go. And my journaling is going to go on the right page where the circle is, kind of in the kitty corner in the bottom right, in and around that area. So what I'm doing now is adhering my foundation page pieces, or the mini page pieces, to the main foundation page. So I start by doing it on the left-hand page. I'm adhering all of the pieces down. You can see that I've trimmed down that horizontal border. And once I complete the left page, then I'm going to work on the right page. My problem at this point is I don't know how long I want that horizontal border. I want it to land on top of that green circle, but I don't want it to completely cross the green circle. So once I more or less establish the placement of the circle in the photos, I trim down that horizontal border, I've adhered it to the page, and I'm going to continue adhering my photos. Also, I want to point out that when I adhered that horizontal border, at the far right, I didn't put much adhesive, and I certainly didn't press down. And that's because you're going to see when I place my photos down in the circle, I want the border to overlap the circle, so I knew I was going to have to lift it up. That's why I didn't put much adhesive, and it worked. So now what you see me doing is adhering the photo and the circle, and you're going to see I have to take a little break because I have a visitor on my desk, and I just wanted to give you an idea of what Chester does when I'm scrapbooking. He sees birds outside on the wire. This doesn't last long, and this is him talking to the birds. Okay, back to my layout. So I'm adhering my photo down to the page, and once this is down, I have to think about my title as well as my journaling. Now I know my journaling is going to go in the circle on the right-hand side. I also know I want a big title over there on the left. So I'm showing you the titles from the Simple Stories collection, as well as that black foam alpha collection called Twilight. My title is going to be Hello Today. So it's going to be there over on the left, but I want a repetition of that on the right. So you can see me putting May 21, the date, in the right bottom corner. Now that's something I frequently do when I stretch a sketch. Is basically I have the title or the main title, and in the kitty corner I have a repetition of that, and I find it just helps guide the eye across the page. The title right now is on wax paper, so I can play around with placement. I also have my embellishing all around me. So I pull out this ephemera piece, and I really like it. It says Here and Now, and it's red. And I love the pop of red there, and I know I'm going to want to repeat red at least in 2 other places on the page. Now my problem right now is almost everything else is really small, the stickers, the ephemera pieces, and all of that. And I'm used to working with some fairly big pieces and then progressively getting smaller. Luckily, the 2 big circles are there, as well as the big title, and I think that's what saves me, because otherwise I would have had to have dug into other tools or other embellishing. Like I said, when I create embellishment clusters, I like to start with something big and then progressively get smaller, but a lot of what I have here is really small. I don't know what I want to do for embellishing, but I do know where the title's going to go, so I decide to adhere that down and then continue once that's adhered down. I don't make you watch all of that, but that's where I adhered it. Now I do know I like that Here and Now red ephemera piece. So I find another ephemera piece that says Hustle and Heart. So I put it there over on those horizontal strips on the journaling box on the right. And I'm looking at my sticker sheet right now, and I'm just picking out little bits and pieces that I think could work. Essentially, I select the flowers, a few arrows, maybe a heart, just a few little pieces that I think will work. And I'm also putting those word stickers on there as well. I'm just going to cut these out and kind of play around with placement a bit before I actually adhere them. I really like that red arrow down by the date. That adds another hit of red down there. So actually I have red in 3 spots now. I'm kind of good to go with that, but I actually continue with the red. I'm putting those word stickers just above that focal point photo around the journaling box there. I'm thinking of that. Then I end up putting them above the photo on the right. They actually stay there for a while, but you're going to see in the end that gets switched up a bit. At this point, I've decided on a few things. I'm adhering them down. Those word stickers, like I said, those get moved. That hustle and heart red piece of ephemera on the journaling box. I have that circle there that says yes and no. I end up later on popping that up on foam adhesive. And then you're going to see me come in with some other smaller bits. I'm doing my embellishing in small bits, I find today. I guess it's just the way this layout is evolving. I'm adding a little bit of cardstock behind that yes, no circular piece there because I want to pop it up on foam adhesive. I do want a little bit more dimension on these embellishment clusters or in these embellishment clusters. I'm taking those flower pieces that are on wax paper and I'm tucking a few of them underneath the word today, and I end up putting a few underneath that circular yes no piece as well, and I'm happy with that. So at this point I think what I'm going to do is just adhere these down. Those flowers on the right go flat to the page because on top of it is that yes no sticker, and over there on the left page I end up taking one of those flower stickers, adding a bit of cardstock behind it so that I can pop it up on foam adhesive. I definitely have a few finishing touches that I have to do. I want to incorporate a few more things, but I'm kind of going slowly at this point. I'm going into that title sheet, and in there are these little arrows. This is a story about climbing down a hill by rope, so arrows indicate energy. And I like how they point to that here and now, so I'm happy with that. I also like that they're foam, so it adds a little bit of dimension. I really want to use those self-adhesive brads from this collection. They are super, super beautiful. I put one up by the yes, no. I put one over there on that horizontal border on the left. I'm not entirely happy with it. I'm kind of obsessed with visual triangles at this point. I'm playing around with putting one of those self-adhesive brads towards the top. I put it down towards the May at one point. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing there. I actually end up removing them because I just don't know what I want to do at this point. And I end up deciding at this point I'm going to add some faux stitching. So what you see me getting out right now is an old template from Stampin' Up, and it has little holes in it. I use it all the time. Tim Holtz has a ruler that's kind of the same thing. Essentially, they are little holes that are spaced perfectly apart. You use a paper piercing tool and a sponge mat. You poke little holes in it, and then you can sew with a needle if you like. What I end up doing is coming in with a fine tip marker, just joining the holes together, and it has a stitching look. I did it just above that ephemera piece that says here and now. I did it above that ephemera piece that says hustle and heart. I did it above the word hello, and you're going to see in the end I actually add another spot as well. So here I go back with those brad pieces, and I end up tucking them in the embellishment clusters, one underneath that yes no piece. But on the left there I decide to tuck it within the flowers. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with them in the clusters as opposed to out on their own. The problem is the third one that I want to add, but I end up going back and forth from the top to the bottom there, but I end up not incorporating it. Basically, I end up making peace with myself that I don't have to create a visual triangle with everything on my page, and I end up with just 2 of them. I'm having a look now, making that decision, and in the end, aside from my journaling, all I ended up doing was I took those word stickers that were in the top area of the right page, and I actually moved them down on that horizontal border just above my journaling. And above that photo on the top right there, I ended up adding that banner that says the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that is it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. I hope you enjoyed this video and that I gave you a good idea how I stretch a sketch. Also, be sure to check out the other participants. Their links are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.